Work as semi-truck tech. Get paid less than an average cashier at a supermarket. Always stressed, tired, and beat up physically. They change my schedule. Fuck it, I'm out. Hand my resignation paper to whoever. Didn't give a fuck. Finally free. No plan, no job. Enjoy life for 1 month. Start an online business with the last dollar I've got. It's a success. Enjoy life doing fucking nothing all day and earning decent cash. Get fucked by Google in December.
Still working, but handed in my notice 2 weeks ago. Been working on a pretty prestigious project in the international development sector. Lots of kudos and social standing due to my job. Much of the job is pretty standard project management, budgets, meetings, small decisions that people want sign off on. Get new manager. She can't help but micromanage. Standard pieces of work that should take a week now take a month. She refuses to join meetings with other team members when she essentially decides after 3 weeks of work that we need to do the whole thing again. Refuses to engage, complains about process, arguing over the size of text fonts. Realized last year that I probably don't need job anymore, take out euros 500k from crypto, still 500k in, no regrets. Get my Brexit visa. Tell boss I'm leaving. I've given them 2 months notice because frankly I like everyone on my team except my boss, and I don't want to see the project fail, although I hate the organization, fucking useless bureaucrats.
B. Bong. Grew up in the States. Work for a British company in the States. They downsize and have to let me go, managed to get a job back at headquarters in the UK, rather than being let go. Probably the most miserable, ass-backward, inefficient work environment I could ever imagine, traditional British company. Start putting the customer first to maintain £2 to £3 million deals, rather than tell them sorry we have to push production back to suit our factory's current inventory, when it cost a couple £100 to get necessary materials there before these deal deadlines. Get irritable as fuck internally with completely backwards business practices. Boss's scrawny buck-toothed manager tries to bollock me for it with the typical thing and blinding tactic, snap and start back, and have him cowering at a wall while taunting him, cap it off with reminding him his wife left him and his kid so she could choke on some black dick. Get called into HR meeting. My boss tells me I'm too American to work there and that Yanks have no place working there. Record the whole thing on my phone, get placed on 2 weeks probation. Tell them fuck it the next day and I quit, give me my exit interview. Show up with my solicitor as a witness, play the comments back, and tell them should I have my solicitor file suit now for discrimination. They let me go and pay out the rest of my 2 remaining years on contract in lump cash the next week. Report them for defrauding the US government on defense contracts based on what I saw while working for them in the US. Uncle Sam gave me a chunk of the recovered funds as a reward. Start my own web business and never look back. Don't take shit from companies ever, you can always fuck them back harder. Always record any closed door meeting you go into in work. Read any NDA they make you sign, know what you can squeal about for profit, and completely disregard it if they're doing something illegal and you know it.
Be me. Software developer in India. Did good job and get called to Switzerland at the client location. Insane competition between the South Indians. The South Indians are willing to kill one another to extend their stay in Switzerland. I become their natural enemy as I am from the north and according to them don't fit in their culture. But the clients, the Swiss and especially the Turks love me. My team lead who is a Turk told me that he thought that a Turk joined. Walla.jpg. COVID time and all the South Indians gang up to my manager and told him to send me back because he is young and he can come back later. These fucks are all over the age of 40, but still can't write a simple for loop without looking at the internet. Team lead puts his foot down and says if they send me back he is gonna leave the job too, since he gets most of the job done via me. 40% of the South Indians are sent back. Bros, it's really sad when you get hated by your own countrymen in a foreign country, but hey, I am earning over 80k a month and life is moderately comfy, so will not complain.
When I was in college I juggled 3 jobs at a time, having a stable one and taking on different ops to improve my resume. One of them was as a marketing director for a painting company. It was basically door-to-door sales, which sucked because it was the Midwest in the middle of winter and the company had a shitty rep because they hired college kids to paint their houses and they would spill shit everywhere. I was the one that trained kids to cold call and go door to door, showing them how to not choke on words in awkward situations. One of the kids' first shot at taking the lead, the dude opened the door with piss stains down his sweats, hard not to laugh lol. Anyways, our main boss was a trust fund douchebag that would take all the credit for our work and ended up cutting our pay 50% then another 75% because he couldn't close. He would demoralize the kids I brought on, making fun of their height and calling them gay. They weren't gay, and one of the kids had a lifelong issue with his height, and I got fed up on a conference call with him and called him out. I said it was bullshit how he could treat my team the way that he did, and it was completely out of line. I was 18, he was closer to 30, so it was kinda awkward to hear that from a kid, I suppose. I think I called him a tool and said I wouldn't be coming back and wished him better luck than he's had with his lack of performance. Moral of the story, there are tons of jobs out there in the world, you're never stuck, you just entrap yourself.
Be me, young 19-yo Seahawks fan going to college first year. Have dogshit Wagie job in what's basically a nice food court. Boss was pretty chill middle-aged guy. After a couple months, chill boss gets replaced with raging fat old feminist cunt. I like football, and I'm basically the only person who works there who does, so I put in a request 4 months in advance for Superbowl Sunday off. Cunt boss keeps pulling down my requests and saying oops. Super Bowl comes around. Seahawks just won NFCCG and are going to their first owl ever. New schedule comes out. Cunt boss scheduled me for an 8-hour dishwashing shift that starts 10 minutes before kickoff. No call, no show. Get a call from work as I'm watching pre-game. Cunt boss is furious and I can hear the dishwasher in the background. She went out of her way to fuck me, but since I no call no showed, it all came down on her. Fat cunt has to spend 8 hours doing the fucking dishes in the back by herself. Says if I don't come down now she's taking me off the schedule, firing me. I say okay and hang up. Luckily that experience made me completely forget about the abortion that was Superbowl XL.
I'm going to tell you the story of when I quit shilling Comcast services. Be me unemployed. See ad on Indeed about making $30K a year as a manager. Fill out forms and get a call a day later. Company takes me on as an observer for a day, asking me questions and explaining how I'm paid. Commission. I stick it out to see what it's like. First week they hire 5 people including me. Third day into the job 2 people walk out. Fourth day I struck a sale and feel good about myself until I get to the office and they are coddling some person about not making a sale. Fifth day it's just me and that other person. Finally asked around when do we start getting checks. Get told that we need to make a certain amount before they do that. Get home and make something to eat. 8 p.m. I get a call about my goals at work and consider it the final straw. Walk into the office in a regular tee and basketball shorts and quit on the spot. Manager tries to convince me to stay and I'll be making money in a week. Nope, out of that and start doing Uber Eats deliveries. Moral of the story is that you can only put up with so much BS, but if you're getting a steady check just listen to music and you'll be alright.
HR reprimand because I didn't take part in the annual company talent show.
HR sat me down and asked me if I had personal issues because I didn't participate in the White Elephant gift swap Zoom meeting.
I got called in for an urgent meeting with one of the big wigs at work and multiple calls urging me to answer the phone and respond to their messages from manager, supervisor, and other head person. I sleep during the day, so I was quite shaker to wake up and see so many blowing up my phone. The fact none addressed what it was about added to my worries. Turns out I was accused of raping a client indirectly. Not many males at my company, but the timelines fit such that I most certainly had some type of interaction at that during the time it supposedly occurred. Fortunately there were many holes and inconsistencies in the story such that it could not have happened as it was described, so it was written off as fanciful imagination at best and someone with BPD, bad person disorder, who hasn't learned how to lie well yet at worst. It's not my first Me Too, but I've wised up and always force another person to be in the room with me when dealing with a younger female. Were it not for what people knew about my character, the fact I'm married, and that the alleged victim was just a little over 400 pounds. It could have turned out a lot worse. They scared me shitless because I always have anxiety about fucking something up or costing the company money due to my mistake. I should not have felt this way, but I was incredibly relieved to hear it was just another rape accusation. Work is too stressful, and even when you clock out they find ways to torment you. I understand formalities, but obviously no one would rape such a person, even if her story were possible. If they're actually concerned, it should be handled as a criminal matter, not as some company investigation to see if any policies were being broken by raping a client. I want out of waging as soon as possible. It's bad enough on its own, but then you get curveballs like this. You can never relax.
Early last year, a closet hardcore feminist friend of mine, I didn't know she was a closet feminist, was complaining about how she doesn't get listened to in board meetings and how people steal her ideas. She never shuts up in board meetings BTW. I told her that I really don't think our company is sexist at all, and that a lot of companies these days actually favor hiring women because they have diversity quotas to meet and etc. At the time, it really just seemed like any other normal conversation we would have. But boy was I wrong. She complained relentlessly about it to her also feminist and overweight team manager, and they both launched a huge fucking smear campaign across the office to try and get me moved off all of my projects to women-led teams so I could learn to work with women, which fortunately, they failed to achieve thanks to my existing project leads defending me staying. However, the manager did give me the shittiest performance review, despite my performance for the year being leagues ahead of my direct peers, something which everyone knows and would acknowledge fast. The reason being I had values that weren't coherent with the values of the business. I had to sit and grit my teeth listening to her say this bullshit to me in the review. And even worse, I found out a few weeks later she had already secured a new job and was due to leave, so she was literally just trying to fuck me as much as possible before leaving. Last time I ever talked to any woman about that ever again, learn from me Anons. Even the seemingly cool ones can be closet feminist crazies. I should add too, the closet feminist friend outright lied about reporting me for it and claimed that someone else must have overheard it and reported it because I wouldn't do that to you.
I'm to break out the worst thing that I've ever had the displeasure of witnessing at work. Hello Anon. Wow. What a year 2020 has been. Your holiday party committee is in the process of planning this year's out of the ordinary virtual holiday party. During one of our planning meetings we began to talk about how extremely fortunate we are to work at company name. The president and the board of directors have gone above and beyond to make sure that the employees of company name have not become part of the COVID-19 statistics. We are fortunate to work for a company that put the employees' safety and comfort levels first. We all still have our jobs and throughout the pandemic have been given the flexibility our families need. I know that I speak for many when I say how grateful we are for the sacrifices the company has made to ensure we are all safe during this pandemic. As the committee talked, we thought how nice it would be for the president and the board of directors to hear that their efforts have not gone unnoticed. So the holiday party committee would like to put a video together of company employees thanking the president and the board of directors. The video will be shown during our virtual holiday party, and we would like for this to be a surprise. We are asking that as many of you as possible do a short 15-30 second video expressing your gratitude, some nice words, or even something as simple as a wave and a thank you. Be creative and feel free to include your families in the video. Company's efforts during this pandemic have not just affected us as employees, but it has impacted our families and personal lives as well. Our hope is to take each of your videos and create a touching video collage that shares how thankful and proud we all are to be part of the company family.
Be me. Pro cake baker. Bake quality birthday cake for colleague. HR notices. Ask me to bake cakes for every birthday and even create calendar with birthdays at work. Boss is a tasteless pleb who enjoys chocolate muds. Get compensated $30 for a $5 cake mix. Forget to bring cakes to work. Get to spend upwards of an hour driving to home and back. Spend upwards of an hour chatting and cleaning up cake tray at office. I was baking cakes is a legitimate excuse for late completion of work thanks to having HR ladies bullying whipped boss. Since baking started I've been getting less work. Average of 7 birthdays a month. I get paid a six-figure systems engineer wage to spend my time baking cakes that take no time at all to make. Have I made it, bros?
I posted it on Biz last year. My company is having a virtual Santa's Grotto, where you get dial into MS Teams call and speak to a company X dressed as Santa and talk about what you're doing at Christmas. You'll then get company branded swag sent to you in the mail, and you have to write a letter back thanking Santa with picture of you with your company's swag, which will be used in marketing material. I wish I was making this sub. I need the money, but this is completely clown world shit at this company.
I got to do this, but with setting up computers instead of baking. Wage slaving on large call floor in a call center building. Eventually promoted to manager. Get new team members, need to fix some of the broken old ass computers for them to use. No one can help me, eventually locate the office in the basement. Just one guy looking after the whole building pretty much. Tell him everything I need, new keyboards, monitors, RAM cards etc. hands them over without a problem. Word gets around I know how to fix computers. Managers all over are suddenly asking me to set up new PCs or fix old ones. Get them to take boring manager work from me in exchange. Eventually my team gets transferred to a new manager to give me time to focus on other projects. Fast forward a year, I have no team but officially still a manager, including pay and full bonus. I just sit around listening to podcasts and reading the news all day, occasionally setting up and fixing computers. Or very rarely helping someone with a call if their manager isn't available. Get paid more than the actual guy, who's one of my best bros in the office at this point. I eventually left the job for somewhere with better pay, but it was sweet while it lasted.
Mental Health Awareness Day event. Several professionals, consultants, experts give presentations. Ends the day with suicide risk awareness. Next Monday everyone treats me like I've just been caught sobbing in the restroom. Multiple people asking if I use Facebook so they can add me. Woman almost puts a hand on my shoulder while asking how I am.
Coworker makes fun of me because I'm balding. Everybody laugh. I make fun of her miscarrying a child in retaliation. Get reported to HR. Not my brightest moment.
HR wants to plaster faces of people from our department on company social media to boost recruitment. You can be like Anon. Mandatory to participate. Ignore it. Get a furious email from manager demanding, and I shit you not a one-page essay, why I decided not to participate. Text him I am working for a client and that I will respond when I have time. Never respond. Be me. Work and trades. Sent to a northern Canadian native reserve. Half-wolf coyote dogs running around everywhere attacking people, biting truck tires, etc. Burned cars and houses all over the place. Kids like 10 years old driving around in trucks drunk as fuck. Just generally complete lawlessness. Tasked with building a school out here. Living in a shitty mobile trailer work camp. No cell service, 2 TV channels, 500 kb per second internet. Food's pretty good though, and unlimited free, the only saving grace. Want to buy the dip that's happening currently? Can't because my bank keeps asking me for SMS too far, and I don't get cell service out here. Just fucking kill me. I've been to jail and this is actually worse, the only saving grace is I'm being paid quite well, but even then the days still somehow feel longer. Wake up at unnatural hour from an alarm. Sit in traffic for an hour commuting to your shit job. Emails already flowing in. Stretch 3 hours of work into 9 to 10 mind-numbing hours sitting in front of a screen responding to bullshit emails, occasionally broken up by monotonous meetings with coworkers you have to pretend to like, and taking orders from bosses. Sit in traffic for an hour commuting home. Emails still flowing in. Once home, spend an hour trying to unwind to get mind out of work mode. Feeling dead, but muster up the energy to make dinner. Spend another 45 minutes responding to emails you don't want to have to deal with tomorrow. Read or watch shitty YouTube videos for 45 minutes. Go to bed, sleep like shit because stress. Repeat next day. What's the point of this poll? Be me. Go to school and work full-time. Take psychology as major because behaviorist. Realize after graduation that psychology is shit and won't land anything good in the job market. Work only with women as social worker. Fuck my life. After 5 years decide not to give a shit anymore. Figure out a way to do work fast and ahead of schedule. Finish week's worth of work on Monday. Don't go in the rest of week because don't need to. Get paid for full 80 hours when only worked 16 hours. Boss praises my good work output and ethic. Boss gives me $2 raise. MFW living the American dream. If this is the right board for this but fuck it. Be me. 24. Can't find work cause COVID. Local Starbucks finally gets back to me after applying 3 months ago. Apply and get the job. Finish training and all that shit. First couple weeks go fine. Put on bar for first time. Only taking mobile orders so it's slow. Taking my time remembering recipes. Need 3 blonde espresso shots. Machine starts revving and halts to a stop. Thick, black liquid comes pouring out, makes the little metal cup hot as fuck. Manager tells me to go home early. What the fuck just happened? I could have just bought BTC in 2017 and held, and I would be free now. I could have bought ETH 1 year ago, when it was $80 and I would be free now. I could have bought FTM at 1 cent, and I would be free now. Instead I'm stuck in this dehumanizing, humiliating, dead-end minimum wage job. Yesterday my manager calls us all for a meeting. He tells us it's to introduce us our new coworker. The coworker is a young fella with Down syndrome. Here companies have to hire a certain number of disadvantaged employees. He's a very nice guy, very kind because he literally has the mind of a child, but still a literal retard. This guy outranks me. This guy gets paid more than me. He's in the office all day fucking around and eating candies, while I have to deal with the customers, which assume I'm their slave spit bucket and constantly insult me for things I have no responsibility for. Meanwhile the retard watches cartoons on YouTube and gets paid more than me. He might even give me orders if he had the mental ability to understand it. This is not a joke. It's my life. In my 26.5 years of existence I have not created anything that the market deemed had enough value for me to earn substantial passive income from. Now I sell my time for an hourly wage far lower than what I value myself at. Worse yet, I report to people with IQs at least 20 points below mine. Is this hell? Work in a job where my company contracts with other companies. My job is calculating shit for one specific client. Very data-driven. Everything in my job pretty much boils down to following general rules and formulas to calculate shit. Sometimes we're missing some data and I need to request it from the company we contract with. The people I contract are basically all women in their HR department. Need to clarify something that happened in 2006. Basically, someone who no longer works there said to make an exception to a rule over an event in 2006. The same exact event was still going on into 2007, so I ask if we should treat that same event the same for the portion of it that happened into 2007. Have gone back and forth with this woman over 5 times now because she keeps thinking I'm asking about a new separate event that also occurred in 2007. I keep trying to reword it and explain more clearly without being rude. I'm missing like 3 deadlines over this. First time I asked the question, as though I was asking a rational adult, gradually dumbing it down and spelling things out to the point that now a chimp that knows sign language should know what I'm talking about. She emailed my manager and this HR lady Woes liked their contact. She clearly is getting frustrated just thinking that I'm wasting her time, but she literally is not even reading what I'm asking her at this point and assumes she knows what I'm talking about. None of them understand that even though Shess replied to me 5 times she has yet to address my original question. Literally none of them understand what I'm asking for. Anyone who gets a job based on soft skills like HR and management is literally a useless fucking retard. Used to work in hospitality, and I will confirm that if you get the hours right it is a comfy, chill job. Wake up at 3 a.m. Shower, have breakfast and not a single noise to disturb you. Go onto quiet street and get in car, cruisy unrushed drive to work. Pull up Make an espresso coffee to start your day at 4:30 a.m. Make warm dough while listening to talk-back radio. Make nice-smelling breads and baking goods until 1 p.m. No rush as it's not busy dinner time or anywhere near. Finish work with a tasty baking snack and another coffee, sitting outside the restaurant. Breathe out at the end of a long day, while other Wagies are in the middle of their long, overcomplicated and micromanaged jobs. Might go get a haircut, because I have the time. State Parks maintenance worker. Literally a fucking janitor cleaning toilets and picking up trash. But other than that, it's pretty cool. Do like 3 hours of actual work and get to dick around for the rest of the day. Cruise around driving truck listening to podcasts. Explore cool places that are closed off to the public. I like to go to a hidden redwood forest, and it's pretty freaking nice. Work with some good friends. It's a part-time gig, meaning you work 9 months and get 3 months off, and you can collect unemployment. The job used to be a lot cooler, but we got a new supervisor who wants us to do actual work. Keck, my uncle was a neurosurgeon and he cracked because the work was stressful and now he's a truck driver. He's incredibly nice, but extremely sus and family thinks he might kill people on the road. He has a room in his house probably 9x9 feet that is refrigerated and reinforced by metal walls and is locked biometrically and with a long-ass passcode. You know what, who am I kidding? He's a fucking killer, I'm 99.99% sure of it. I run bagging machines in a chip factory for around $50K a year. There's chill days, but overall there's a lot of junk equipment that makes it not chill at all on most days. Lots of running around chasing fires. And I have a long commute for it that makes it just marginally worth it. I actually have a degree I did decently well in, but I hated college and fucked up certain career prospects. I really am focused on making it without a career as I have hated every decent paying job I've had. And some warehouse jobs are chill, but even more are harsh or agonizingly boring at best. Work as an order picker for a warehouse. Good physical laborious job that will keep you fit and active. Also, you'll get to learn how to drive a forklift, which can come in handy when looking for other jobs. The best ones are the ones where the bosses are cool, lots of friendly banter, and no overbearing boss being on your ass. Although those types of jobs are like finding an oasis in the middle of the desert. I'm killing a thread to ask if any of you guys struggle with being a wage cuck and still having time to work on your art. I work in sales for 9 hours from 8 to 5 for a company, and even though I work from home at the end of the day, I'm just too tired to work on my goals, and it frustrates me to no end. Having to wait for the weekend to be able to work on my art, I do a subpar job since the weekend feels so short. I usually end up rushing. I start the week feeling frustrated. How do you deal with this, guys? How do you just wage slave your whole life? I graduated from college with a business degree and worked at a call center for 3 days and got fired, then got a job as an assistant, then quit after 6 months. It was all a miserable hell. How do I do this my whole life? Be me. Heavy equipment operator. Work 90+ hours a week. Save 3/4 of my income. Work season passes, I take 4 months off. Still make double average the annual income in my country. I made more than the civil engineer designing what I was building on my last project. Take the Tradispill Anon. Part of the training is often paid apprenticeship. Cheaper, faster education. Pay is often equal to or greater than your average degree will net you. Easily become self-employed. Learn useful practical life skills. I mostly run excavator and civil oil and gas construction. But I'm competent on dozer, skid steer, zoom boom and really anything with tracks, wheels and hydraulics. I've had some massive fuck-ups lol. Few years ago I broke a 10-inch high-pressure water main and caused major property damage and zero damage to a wetland. Was only partially my fault, the drawings and staking was wrong, but I ignored some obvious warning signs. Early in my career I wasn't thorough enough in reading some stakes and drawings and dug some ditch wrong. Pipe didn't fit and 2 cranes plus whole crew sat and waited while we redug the ditch. Shit happens. I didn't get fired for either of them. Both costed over 100k. The training was good for me, but there's two difficult aspects of the trade. It's very experience dependent. Anybody can fiddle with the controls for a week and run the machine, but to be effective, you have to really understand every aspect of the job laid out ahead of you and the individual steps you have to take. You also end up managing the laborers working around you. There's a lot of responsibility involved when you could crush and kill them without feeling it. Because of this, even if you take training, you're probably going to be started out on the ground until you understand what's going on. Ultimately, it's a decent career and I'm glad I chose it. I'll make foreman someday. Work for 4 years with an MS in biochem. Have to quit to move home to support my mom. Mom dies, move to West Coast City. Apply to jobs I'm overqualified for. Have good references. Oh, Anon, you gotta take this personality test. Never get called back. They're just trying to make us into robots. I landed a shitty job as a mid-level manager making shit pay at some shitty startup. My friends with less qualifications get paid better than me. The work market is shit, the world is shit. Now I'm blackpilled. Do 10 years in chair force, white-collar job INB for an honor. Separate, contract on and off for 2 years. Decide I'm done with the desert, want to stay home. Apply for jobs at 30+ different airports all over the country. Most of which require a bachelor's degree in what I did. Only one airport calls me back to progress to the next step. Half of them tell me I'm not qualified because I don't have my college participation trophy. Do a test with the airport that calls me back, do well. Never heard from them again. Decide to fucking get my Marxist indoctrination paperwork from college university. Have a 3.75 GPA because the coursework is so easy. All the while struggling to make ends meet because no one will fucking hire me. I have 6 months left on my degree, and despite getting mostly A's in most of my classes plus my decade of experience, still no one will hire me. Boomers have really fucked up this nation, bros. I do have some good news, though. I know a few folks who went to university for about 3 years, give or take a few months. They said fuck it, applied for jobs and claimed to have the degrees they were already working on and lied about experience. The hiring teams did no background checks on any of it, and they got fucking hired. Dudes are making $40k plus with no experience and no finished degree. If I wasn't so close to finishing mine already, I'd try it out. I hope this gives some hope to some of you guys out there. You don't have much to lose. 2021. Not working for small but successful companies. Problem is that the best companies to work for are the hardest to find. My company is 15 strong, has been in business for 80 years, and has better benefits than most Fortune 500 companies these days. We don't use recruiters or advertise for openings, all references are word of mouth. Best way to find that type of company is to research, find they exist and reach out to them, even if they don't have posted openings. Good companies will hire good people even if they don't have an immediate need. I could make more in salary working for a larger company, but I make more than I need anyway with ample to save and invest. No drug tests, no personality tests, no games, no HR, no bullshit. Just grown men getting stuff done with a couple women to help handle inside support and accounting. Full health insurance paid, company car insurance, maintenance, gas paid, competitive salary, great bonus structure, profit share, good 401k, no micromanaging. Take the small company pill. Anons, corporate work conditions will ruin the better parts of your life. They don't want to hire you. It's a buyer's market out there for management versus labor thanks to the 1970s perfect storm of labor castration from the double whammy of an almost overnight doubling of the labor force plus the increasing labor savings from automation. Remember that scene in Saving Private Ryan with an office full of people drafting "We're sorry to inform you little Johnny died in the war" letters? That office doesn't exist anymore because it was replaced by a single laser printer and 2 lines of code. Don't think automation equals factory robots. Word and Excel are automation, barcodes are automation. And for what few jobs remain, it used to be you competing against Bob and John, now you're also competing with those 2+ Babs and Jean and Sally. Companies love this. Salary negotiations are in the basement because you have no room to negotiate. If you don't take the rare job, they'll give it to the line of people behind you. It simply cannot be stated enough, the labor market crashed, and it will take a century to right itself. How's the job hunt? Biz, I've basically given up until today. I now have reached the stage where I am telling complete falsehoods on my resume relating to my experience as to try and snag a role so that I can bunny-hop off into a different company within 9 months before I am found out. I do wonder if it will work. Graduate from December 2019. Over 800 plus applications. Have only had 6 interviews. Got ghosted after reaching final round. Can't apply to internships cause already graduated. Every entry-level job requires 2 years minimum. Currently gigging for Uber Eats to get exercise and be outside. Shit is fucked. BS in engineering. Worked in a business office unrelated to degree for a few years after college. Lost job last year due to corona. Decide to try to get back into engineering. Applied to 50 jobs in the last 3 months. 1 callback, 1 interview, no job. Feels bad, man, I'm losing hope. I feel like I'm an excellent candidate too. I way overperformed at my last job, and I'm still young. Should I go crawling back to my old company after I said I don't want to work there anymore on my way out? Econ student. Land internship at huge bank. Gov makes me stay home for 2 weeks cause I'm suspected for COVID, so I couldn't go. I am so fucking mad. I can't even get a min-wage job in my shitty town. I've been living only on GME and crypto gains. I'm down to my last hundreds and I didn't put anything away for taxes. Friends, make it stop. The point is to make lots of money while you're young so that you can make good memories and live life to the fullest. The number one deathbed regret is having spent too much time at work / not enough with family and loved ones. That's exactly why we're all here, you retard. We don't want to wage for 80% of our waking hours. We don't want to retire at 70 and die a few years later. This isn't about Lambos and hookers, it's about trying to build a meaningful life that's actually worth living. Most of us are close enough to suicide as it is. That's why we're trying to make it. You wouldn't get it, you're probably a normie. $40K job that's basically just slightly advanced data entry. House and car are already paid off from a small inheritance a few years ago. First month on the job, I created and perfected a macro-enabled Excel workbook to do all my work for me. Get 8 hours of work done in 5 minutes every morning. Occasionally take on a few extra projects for the same type of work that don't add more than 5 to 10 minutes to my work day. Glowing performance reviews. Free to dick around basically all day with 0 repercussions. Nobody ever checks on me since the work is getting done. Boss always talking about what a hard productive worker I am and how proud he is to have me on his team. Never going to tell them my secret. Sold my biz just before Coronachan. Buyer calls me every month, he says I knew something was up. Unironically thinks I'm Illuminati or something. Actually, I was just about to go bankrupt, but acted as if everything was fine. Now I might buy it back from him at an 80% discount when he does instead. Have a job currently, sysadmin. Want to move on, starting to hate my company, shit is on fire all the time, they refused to hire more people etc. Started sending out job apps last month. No bites. Even being currently employed in a good field is fucked right now. I don't get how people job hop so successfully, bros. Had decent job before COVID hit. Unemployed for 4 months. Making decent gains trading, so not in a rush to find job. Find okay work from home job paying 25 per hour. Send me new computer. First week constant issues on their end getting me set up in the system. Second week still not set up. 10 whole hours work doing nothing. Is this what being employed is now? Should I just tell them to fuck off and keep being an eat? Team dissolved in February. Was moved to the analytics team when I am a marketer and know jack shit about analytics. Been 2 months now. Boss hates me and has no idea why I was put on his team. Had 2 interviews and no follow-ups since then. Monday had a 3rd interview scheduled. Was cancelled 1 minute before because the HR manager didn't fucking look at my resume and said he wanted someone with management experience. Def getting fired soon and have no job leads despite having my MBA and 5 years experience. It's hell. Hey Anon, I know a guy that does computer stuff. Text him. Hey, meet me at this bar. Talk briefly about a few new things that are happening and how I love Linux while having a pint. I want you to install and admin dozens of remote servers for customers. I'll give you a ton of money and work whatever hours you want. Already got him to say smelly Somali. Been there 2 years and 30% trace. Buy whatever I want for work and he pays for it, no questions asked. Take time off for any reason anytime. Take the small company pill. Do you Anons want a jobs general with info? 2020 grad Booger here, all I have is a BS in mechanical engineering. Applied to 3 jobs total before during Rona because lazy. 2 rejects, 1 later wanted me back, told them no. Accepted first offer. Moved out of state for job. Didn't like it even though 6K per month post-tax. Applied for another job and phone interviewed. 6 months quit and now work from home. Comfy. Have online interview for grad scheme. Film answer to a few questions, goes well, gave confident answers with no stuttering. Ace coding questions, passing all test cases and completing them in less than half the time given. Unfortunately, we will not be progressing your application at this time. No feedback given. MFW. What more do you fucking want? Requires 3 years of experience and an extremely hands-on skill that's not taught in any school or anywhere outside of on-the-job training. Requires college degree. 15 to 20 bucks an hour. This shit needs to die now. It's a technician on a US military base. My job is to maintain networking equipment between a list of buildings. When everything is working, I have nothing to do. Maybe once every 3 months I have to swap out some switches, routers and reconfig them. If there is a major infrastructure problem, I have to coordinate contractor Wagies to come do the actual work. This isn't because I'm not capable, but I'm required to outsource these tasks because a private contractor company won a $8 million contract to provide this service. The contractor Wagies make $12 per hour. I have my own workshop where I'm completely unsupervised and I drag commercial Wi-Fi in there so I can browse the interwebs. I can go and come as I please. People just assume I'm working at one of the other buildings. The $75K per year job is at specialist. Work in a cubicle on a team of specialists, micromanaged, clock in, clock out, stare at screen all day, supervisor looks over your shoulder at screen. Considered white collar. For funsies, I used to go to pyramid scheme meetings where they'd try to get people to buy shit like vacations, timeshares, etc. I'd go for free coffee and food and just shrug off the high-pressure sales tactics. I took the most pride in hitting the same people for free shit over and over again. When you learn to recognize the mentality of people in pyramid schemes, you start seeing it everywhere. They always think of what they're doing as a business, and they imagine that they'll climb up towards the top of the pyramid when in reality they'll be on the bottom rung or treading water constantly a run or 2 up the pyramid and trying frantically to avoid falling down towards the bottom. You see that shit in companies, politics, religious groups, fucking everywhere. The bottom is full of people who are either oblivious suckers or suckers who think that they're in on the con and that they are going to work their way up. When you realize it, there's shock for a while. It takes time for acceptance to sink in. I'm a project engineer in construction, basically an overpaid paper shuffler. I do no physical labor, but rather document control, RFIs, communications with engineers and suppliers, running the back end of the job, etc. During my first job out of college, I worked very hard. I was extremely stressed and worked long hours and was responsible for many things on projects to keep them running. Near the end of my run there, I got a reputation as an Excel whiz and project closeout expert of sorts. I was on a long-term $250 million hospital project, 3 years job security, with moderate stress, but I was honestly liking the gig. My boss calls me up one day and asks me to move to a different project for 3 to 4 months to close it out, then come back. This was the start of COVID. I didn't think much of it and accepted and moved to this next project to close it out. It was very stressful and I was really hating my life. I was working hard, I was responsible for many things. The project was coming to a close and I was excited to move back to the other job, but someone else with my title, who had connections inside the industry, his dad owned a smaller GC in town, and in the construction industry everyone knows each other, was placed on the hospital project. I knew pretty quickly that this guy replaced my ass and the writing was on the wall. I continued to bust my ass, but more for good faith and the slight chance that maybe I will get on a different project and perhaps get a promotion. I was eventually laid off as the company was running out of projects due to COVID. I got a small severance, and the day I was let go was one of the most freeing feelings I ever had. I felt elated to finally stop wage cucking, even if only for a couple months. Ironically, this company treats its employees like a big family. What a load of shit. I learned an important lesson from this. Contrary to what my boomer father taught me to work hard, I learned that hard work sometimes doesn't pay off. Last job was a fancy retail menswear shop, and I could feel myself boiling inside at the notion of having to do it every damn day for years. I basically stopped caring and then quit. Expected to show up 30 minutes early and work for free to get the shop ready. At first, I did that, but then I realized it was a scam. I only came 5 minutes early, and you could see my colleagues start to get annoyed. Pure crabs in a bucket. Everyone Brown knows his absolute psycho-bullying boss. And I ignore his existence and paid him little respect. I could see from the get-go that he was a dumb cunt that landed his position with pure luck, and now he shots on everyone for his own entertainment. Fuck that shit. Retail is the absolute worst. Hard work can paint a target on your back. Make other people look stupid. My first job out of college was support for the IRS. Holy shit, I loved that job. I learned so much so quickly. They had a bounty program for process improvements, and I was collecting all sorts of data and tactics from my calls. Every team of 10 would have 3 calls picked out to be scored by national, and agents would be congratulated. I was getting one every single day. 23 perfect calls in a row, and our goal was 90%. They started building a case against me. Said they checked 3 calls and I failed 2 of them, except I could see on their screen the whole list was grayed out. They had to hunt for these, and the ones they found were examples of when I would ask the caller to verify their answer. You would do this if it was a really corner case exception that applies to nobody. The caller had changed their answer upon clarification, and I was still told it was improper to waste time clarifying. I was asked to hand in my resignation after my first failed national call. It failed because a logic fault in one of our tools, a logic fault that I had already reported as faulty in this exact hypothetical corner case. Joint bondholders, the tool never asks if the bonds are jointly held. Yeah, I am jaded. Now I don't go above and beyond. I make more, and my job is more stable. I just finished college. Having worked 2 summer jobs, I have decided I would quite honestly rather die than work at a company again. I don't mind working, I just hate working for someone else, especially buzzword-obsessed corporations. In 2 weeks I'll start to flip items, make and sell soap, invest, act as a courier, and do any kind of independent work. It really is do or die for me at this point. I mean it absolutely, 100%. My parents have been so proud of me. High school, college, a job here and there, etc. I applied to some boomer-type corporation to please my mom. Friends of hers are connected to said corporation, and they are super excited, talking about my first real job and shit like this, giving me tips, etc. In a nutshell, they have been financially and emotionally supportive of me, but I fear it is only because I have been taking the safe, boomer Jenks-approved path. However, I just can't put up with it, bros. A fire inside me burns, and it tells me to go my own, independent way, to work hard, but to work for myself. I fear I will disappoint my parents by doing this, especially since I've been through 2 out of 3 interviews at this company that have all gone very well, which made them real proud. But no, I will not take the safe, passive and steady path that assures me a lifetime of achievements. I've seen the misery that awaits down said path. Fuck that, I know you guys feel the same. I will think of all of you every step of the way. I work for myself and myself only. And if I ever have employees, I will sure as shit make their lives way better than what they would get at any other business. And thankfully, at least I have my grandfather who someone thinks like me, ironically, the least boomerish boomer I've met. Sorry for the rant. Anyways, good luck bros. We're all gonna make it. I worked support for an IT healthcare company. My boss quit after 6 months there, and my team was assigned a boss from another department. This boss constantly praised me. After another 8 to 9 months of working hard, a position opened up in the department of this placement holder boss. I applied and was treated like an outsider. I was asked questions about how well I knew software they clearly knew I used all fucking day long. I was then told later they decided to hire some faggot outside of the company. I was furious and I asked this boss why, and she said it was because I wasn't proactive enough. I told her to give me an example and she couldn't. I also asked why, in the 8 to 9 months she was my boss, she never once mentioned this as all she had done was praise me, and she had no answer. I walked out that day thinking to never work hard again as all the other people I knew who were promoted were lazy retards. I seriously hope that former boss gets fucking brain cancer. This was over 3 years ago, and I still hate her stupid fat face. She did me a favor, though, because it taught me a lot. Still, she's a stupid cunt, and I hope to God she burns in hell. Grave robbing, I shit you not. Find historic graveyards at county clerk's office. Typically they are less frequented, have decent loot, almost never have security. You want graves prior to 1930 as concrete encasing of coffins is less likely and easier to get into coffins. Brick encasements are easier to get through than concrete. In Civil War graves you often find rifles, pistols, and swords. Not to mention jewelry in ladies' tombs. But more importantly, you can sell a single human femur for $300, a skull for upwards of $1,200. Pretty low investment to get started. Petzl headlamp, a good short shaft sharpshooter shovel, a long shaft wide shovel, waterproof duffel bag, crowbar, 10 pounds sledge. Read up on bone debridement, bone polishing, gun collection info, and jewelry identification. Just wanted advice on how to solve this issue. I landed what I thought was my dream job at an investment bank, but I'm treated like shit. I've been tasked on many personal assistant matters like today, getting pulled to a meeting just to bring olive oil possibly for their lunch, and I'm aware of what an analyst job might entail a lot of times, but this is too far. Work hard, standard Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 job. Pay is okay but can be better, and company is stingy about raises. Even pushes back on the yearly inflation rise. Decide to make a change in my life. I'm going to learn to drive. By commuting I can get to the next city over and earn more money. Look up cars and insurance prices. 2. 53k British pounds. Decide I must be looking at the wrong cars. Do plenty of research and find out what cars are seen as being a low insurance group car. It's name after name of vehicles I've already checked the insurance prices on. 1 liter shit boxes, many are 2010 on, newer as recommended. Write off driving because it's not realistic. Depressed and stuck in same job. What exactly are you meant to do? You try to be a good productive member of society and you just get fucked for it. Every day I get up and go to my job, which thanks to furloughed redundant staff and increased workload is increasingly soul-sucking. I spend 40 mins on public transport, an hour and a half daily in total, to come home with a salary that's paying for less and less, and any chance of changing that is impossible. Wagie Stories thread. My boss is off today, so I am planning on shitposting on biz until I'm inevitably banned like last Friday. Give me your best Wagie stories. Me 21, fresh out of unit. Start job at big accountancy company. I have always been pretty cheap, never understood consumers. Every lunchtime there was a sandwich delivery, about 30 sandwiches, go to the fridge, and you pick one up if you pay in this monthly. Sandwich fun thing. Work out that, if I am in the kitchen at around 11:30 I can just pick up a sandwich and put it in my bag. Eat free lunch for over a year. Start taking 2 sandwiches to cover my dinner as well as lunch. Save probably about 5K on food before I left the job. Start planting seeds of doubt into people's mind about who is the sandwich thief. Sandwich scheme stops. Be me. Work hourly retail restaurant. Start working as a waiter and make more money than ever before. Decide it's time for something different with benefits. You know, a real job. Resume full of job hopping cause always hopping to the next job which paid more, but slightly since they were all in the same category line of work. No real jobs with real pay now wanna hire me, but always want me to explain to them what I was doing, as if they didn't know. Are hiring managers retarded or something? Of course I was hopping from one job to the next when they weren't paying well. Why would it even matter anymore at this point now that I'm looking for a real stable job with benefits? The nerve of some people. Also, some interviews I go to lately, it seems like they're selling me the job, not me actually trying to land the job. Be working as pizza tard. Supposedly just a driver, but you're never just a driver. Whole chain has this thing called Customer Appreciation Day. Pizza's basically 50% off for 4 hours. Usually just a quiet thing on weekdays for lunch regulars. Head office decides this year will be different. They market the shit out of it. Do small trial runs on Facebook or something. They didn't bother updating the computer system though, so we had to do an admin override to get the price right. And above all, they decided to have it on a Sunday. It begins, we've stocked up on ingredients and made a double batch of dough. But no preparations could hold out in the oncoming siege. At exactly 1 p.m. the phones start ringing. They won't stop until we unplug them an hour and a half later. The store quickly starts to fill up. We are understaffed by default. But now we're really understaffed. The trickle of orders has become a torrent. It's standing room only in the customer area. We can't load pizzas into the oven fast enough. The orders keep coming. Estimated wait time creeps over 2 hours. Deliveries being ignored because we can spare anyone to deliver them. The crowd's initial optimism gives way to hunger and then anger. They loudly complain amongst themselves. Loud cheering whenever someone gets their food. Get told to go to the supermarket because we're out of lettuce. Take this opportunity to smash a Red Bull. Realize I can barely walk straight. Realize we're only halfway through. The rest is all a blur. Come to work one afternoon. Front window's been smashed in. Ask what happened, thinking vandals or something. Turns out 3 hood boys smashed the window with sledgehammers and stole the till. Funny thing is, they did it after closing, so there wasn't any money in the till. It had all been moved to the safe as is universal industry practice. And the cherry on top is that they didn't take the key, which was chained to a grill just below the till. They were arrested the next week pulling the same shit at a different store. And just some short stories. One time the manager figures out you can put twice as many dishes through the dishwasher if you put the next load in after only half a cycle. Happily oiling pans. Franchise owner walks by and tells me to use more oil. It's literally the cheapest thing in the store. Oils a whole stack just to prove his point. Manager walks past later and tells me off for using too much oil. Managed to fit 120 pizzas in the back of a RAV4 one time. Rolling dough with one to the 2 other white staff members. Telling me about an hour-long argument that the managers got into the previous day. Too many chiefs, not enough Indians. The dude's sides leave the planet for a half hour. About to cross the road after a delivery. Hear a car coming. Like, really coming. Little first-gen RAV4 comes flying past. Hits speed bump so fast it gets completely airborne right in front of me. The only thing I can hear is a poor 2-liter Freer Ving and this dude's GF screaming. Someone asks me to pick them up a 12-pack of beers on the way to their place. Whatever, sure. They tip me like $60 for being crazy enough to do it. Some dude comes into the store and orders a delivery to his house because it's cheaper than a taxi ride and he gets a pizza. I give him a lift. He's a cool dude and he tipped me $5 or something. Had 3 hot chicks from my old school pull the same thing a week later. Didn't leave a tip or suck me off. The fucking cunts. Get breathalied 5 times one night before the cops just started letting me through. Be retard. Graduate college. Get shitty temp job for $30 an hour, but no benefits of worth. Job is complete bullshit and a complete waste of time. Oh well. Applying to graduate schools because I don't really want to work yet. Get in. Go from half-assing work to quartering-assing it. Actively pissing off upper management cause shit is funny. Contract expires. Not renewed. Oh well. Now get to collect unemployment for the next 4 months. Performance review. Give myself 3 out of 5 for interpersonal skills influence on team and organization. Review it with boss, he gives me 2 out of 5. Kill me. Be me. Work for large corporation. Do good work. Get invited to conference in Vegas to win award. Take company's private jet with executive team. Get drunk the night before. Miss my alarm. Dressed like shit. Drive to wrong airport. Make president of multi-billion-dollar company wait on tarmac for 1 hour. Stumble into private jet, pass out for entire flight. Probably my worst work moment. Somehow everyone still loved me. I have some semi-interesting stories. Be 19. Start in small office. Have sexual tension with this hot 35-year-old that works there. She is taken. B. We always flirt, make jokes. She is my work GF, I'm her work BF, etc. 6 of us work in this small office, so never left alone with her for any extended period of time. One Friday afternoon comes, where it is just me and her, others are on leave or at a different office for a meeting and won't be back. It escalates. We lock the office doors and spend the afternoon fucking. I've never cum so hard before or since. Probably the situation, risk, or whatever. We fuck another 2 times before we go home. Regularly meet up outside of work and fuck. She is a typical woman, so changes her mind suddenly and randomly one day, and it all stops. Work for a large company. Most wasteful company ever. Would take loads of things home. If I didn't use it, I would sell it. Furniture, desk chairs, cabinets, tables, anything. Computers and computer parts. Batches of full or barely used cans of things like metal lubricants, expanding foam, etc. Even stuff that was useful, but because the label had partly worn or come off they couldn't be certain of specifics, so had to throw it out. Made 1,000s from this and pretty much furnished my home. Nobody ever gave a shit, even if they watched me load up my car. Be me. Have been programming for longer than my own boss, who is only 4 years older than I am and took non-STEM course in college. Boss close to CEO because they were the first hire but hasn't written any code in about 3-5 years. I graduated 2 years ago. I have unironically been programming for longer than my own boss. My job has become 50% writing very detailed ticket descriptions in Jira and writing proposal documents before I can work on anything. Because that's the only way they think they can manage. Time estimates from boss are either 3 hours, which means I am allowed to do something, or 3 months, which means I can't. There is no in between. If I do not complete a permitted 3-hour task in 3 hours, I have to sit for 30 minutes and receive their feedback while we brainstorm ways I could work more efficiently. Boss could genuinely be replaced by a weekly email from their superior, and it would be a net positive. Skills stagnating because they don't give me any meaningful work. Stuck for foreseeable future and prospects only declining. I feel myself dying every day. Startups are great if any graduating Anons see this. Avoid startups like the fucking plague. Avoid them at all costs. They look and sound fun, but they are radioactive. Everyone above me has chronic stress and works 12-hour days for no overtime. Find yourself the biggest, most faceless bureaucratic job you can and stay comfy under the radar. There's still time for you. Company forces us back into the office because boomer managers think we aren't working if they can't see us. Monthly safety presentation is sent out via email. Entire presentation is about COVID safety, physical distancing, minimizing interactions, etc. We physically have to sign and pass around a sheet of paper to sign off on viewing the email. Unemployed for 18 months. Get 11-week contract at warehouse. It's hard, I hurt. Contract up for renewal. Drag supervisor to his office. I want to renegotiate for a 4-day work week. Says you'll look into it. Later, no. Unemployed. Boy, do I have a couple of good ones. Work in small retail shop in a rough area. Shop shuts at 10, but usually there's drug deals outside when locking up. One guy fucked off his nut demands for the shop to open. Not on the clock, not my problem. Proceeds to use autistic Rhea and pull the locked doors apart. Walks in and takes 1 pack of Doritos and leaves. Wrote a note for the morning staff the next day and never questioned again. Another one I remember. Same retail shop. Friday night, so pretty busy. Guy comes in drunk trying to start fights with other people. Gets up in the face of a middle-aged man. Dropped. JPEG. The guy is twitching on the floor for a few seconds before bolting up. He leaves saying he'll bring his mates to back him up. 15 minutes pass. Same guy who got his bell rung comes sprinting back with 4 guys chasing him. All masked up, probably some gang shit. Guy then gets beaten up in the shop for a second time. Then calls his mommy to get a lift home. Be me, work from home, work maybe 4 hours a week, get paid for 40. Projects moving at snail's pace. Boss emails me, think things are a bit slow. Spend an hour setting things up for the next task. Boss incredibly happy with my progress and thanks me for speeding up the project. Only thing is I feel bad cause my boss is a genuinely nice guy. Although he does stress me the fuck out. Get job at billion-dollar Fortune 50 company right out of college. Shitty tech support job. At first everything is pretty good. Slowly find out I'm being paid 10% less than everyone else. I'm also the go-to person everyone puts their hard work off on. Watch as women and minorities get promoted for quota. Getting more and more disillusioned. One day in the bathroom I'm so mad I have a breakdown, and for reasons unknown even to myself I pick my nose and wipe boogers all over the bathroom mirrors. And I'm a bona fide boogie factory, lots of boogers. Big meaty hairy boogers. This continues for years. No one can catch me. Many angry emails sent from managers threatening to fire whoever it was. Even got a mad company memo from the CO about it. I eventually quit the job, but last I heard from a friend who still works there someone else is still doing it. And that's the epic legend of the Booger Bandit. I wasn't here this day, but my coworker I'm good friends with was. This happened yesterday. Work as a lot tech at a Cadillac dealership. Basically wash cars and detail them, also do something called ECP, which is basically adding a ceramic coat to a car. New guy comes in and starts acting like he owns the place. Clabers a car that doesn't need CLAYBARRED a step in the ECP process, doesn't use wax like you are supposed to. Friend tries to stop him, says he shouldn't do that and it will fuck up the car. Guy says he knows what he's doing and does it anyway. Fast forward to today. I get in, car is on the showroom floor. Salesman approaches me and tells me the car is fucked up and I could tell at least one side is. Pull car outside. Entire car is fucked up, scratches everywhere on this brand new BLACK. Scratches show up super easy on black cars, 50K Cadillac. Salesman is pissed and tells him to buff the entire car. He's currently buffing the entire car and he has 30 more minutes before the customer gets here. At least it's not my ask. Is it really that hard to listen to people that have been doing this shit longer than you? Also, all the salesmen are huge faggots minus like 2 seriously fuck salesmen. Fall for STEM meme. Want to be engineer. First generation college kid, white male. Get good grades, do extracurricular activities, join honor societies etc. Can't get summer internship. Classmates easily get great paying internships leading to full-time jobs. I must be doing something wrong. Find out classmates just use their dads as references. Remaining spots go to diversity hiring. Finally get internship by pretending to be Hispanic. Hate internship, but it's too late in degree to change. Decide to get master's degree for better options. Unemployed for over a year. Finally get job unrelated to both college degrees. I get looked down on by coworkers who are in the fast-track rotational program. They all have parents in the company. I should have just studied Comp-Sci. Me 21 work a retail job at Lowe's for 10 months. I'm a cashier and would use my phone for 70% of my shift. Repeatedly spoken called out by head cashiers for doing it. Called out again for it on my last shift at the time. Finish shift. The next day I take a spontaneous road trip and never clock in again. Might seem a bit dumb, but there's a reason people slack off so much as a cashier. When you have free time, you have a lot of free time. It only takes like 5 minutes to tidy up your immediate vicinity. There is no reason to work harder than you have to. Sadly, I gambled all my savings from that year of Wages living away. I'm down to under $1K in savings. Been thinking about the military, but I'm not too keen on the idea. The alternative is dying, I guess. I could do delivery driving, but that is extremely cucked since I have to put wear and tear on my own car just to likely not get tips. Only ever been able to get restaurant jobs. The old bastards that make a career out of it are usually fucking assholes. Normal fags everywhere. If you aren't talkative, they assume you hate them or something and get downright hostile. Have to watch people who were born with a silver spoon in their mouth have a great time while I'm sweating my ass off working with other retards. Be working at pizza place. Been slow all day, 1 hour to close up. Suddenly a crowd of people rush in and the place actually get every table filled. I'm talking like 20 tables. WTF. Just me and this old bastard. He does the pasta dishes, I make all the pizzas and salads. Moving as fast as I can, this is impossible, we need people. Pizzas are getting burned. Fuck. Time to remake. Asshole waiter keeps asking me for his table's pizza like 3 times. I know this fucker knows I'm the only one on our end. Throw him a partially burned pizza, here it is fucker. He gets mad and calls me an idiot for giving him a burned pizza. If I wasn't busting my ass making even more pizzas as he said that, I prob would have throw it in his fucking face. Afterwards I shot the shit with the only waiter with a brain and talked about how we have to quit. Only thing I regret is not saying anything to that asshole. It was an open kitchen, so the customers would have heard me, but I was a pussy back then. Fuck restaurants. Fuck retail. Need it up till they fix this broken system. 28. I work as an admin for the government in a god-forsaken research station. Automated 95% of my job within my first 3 months. I literally only get drunk during work and research investments and shitposting. Now 50% in home office since the MMFlu hit. Home office is literal neat style. I effectively leech tax money at this point and invest that tax money into stocks. If stocks do well, I can be fully financially independent in 7 to 14 years. Gonna fuck off then to some Southeast Asian country and live off the passive income. Software internship. Deliver excellent results, told I'm better than the last few interns for this position. A month and my manager grows cold towards me, think nothing of it. Performance review at the end of the internship. Boss says my results were excellent but had problems with my personality. He lays down a laundry list of miscommunications and small issues with my demeanor. I'm still pissed about this years later. This cuck was sitting on problems for months when they could have easily been fixed with a quick one-on-one session. I understand that I'm a turbo autist, but at least tell me there's a problem instead of continuously saying you're doing great, keep it up. Then dropping all these easily fixed issues on me at the end. Work at store with deli. Normally I am the guy who has to clean the deli. Try to do a good job cleaning the deli. I wipe off the counters, sweep, do dishes, and mop. Takes like 45 minutes per shift to do, but it looks good. Coworkers complain to manager that I take too long to clean deli. Manager reprimands me for taking too long. You want fast? I'll give you fast. Stop sweeping and wiping counters, just do dishes and mop. Deli doesn't look nearly as clean. Nobody notices how dirty Deli is. Coworkers, managers stop complaining about how long I take cleaning it because I basically don't clean it now. All that hard work I did to do a good job never mattered to anyone. Why do I even bother doing a good job? I don't know how to tell him to stop. He thinks it's the funniest thing in the world, but it's disgusting. And he does it on my face. Like literally he stands with his backside toward me, and when I'm not ready, he'll rip a loud one, and I actually feel the gusts of wind coming from him on my face and in my lungs. I'm just an intern and need a return offer, and I've never been too good at standing up from myself, and I don't know what to do. I started sobbing in the bathroom yesterday trying to wash the smell off. I'm literally becoming depressed. Before someone says troll, I really do need advice. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe.